Hello, welcome to this update for parts of Australia and New Zealand about these cyclones, and we'll also talk about Oceania, some things. So here who we got this cyclone, the southeastern Indian Ocean near northwestern Australia, Cyclone Errol, and it has rapidly intensified next 24 hours. So about a day or so or something, it was like a big group of thunderstorms, and now it already has this shape of a big cyclone, so pretty impressive. And it might eventually track into northwestern Australia, but by the time it does so, it will weaken a little bit. So here the track does have its strong there now. The ocean might strengthen a little bit more, and then it might go into northwestern Australia a little bit weaker. So here on the satellite imagery, there's this impressive small eye in the middle and very deep convection around it. And here there's the GFS model, so shows the cyclone there, the southeastern Indian Ocean, and it shows it kind of curving later towards northwestern Australia, but by the time it does so, it shows like very weak already, kind of dissipating. This might be by Friday, April 18th. Today's Wednesday, so it shows this goes and it dissipates there. Later, the GFS still is kind of a low pressure trying to form near northern Australia, but the GFS does very strange things. It forms this into a cyclone and goes into southern Indonesia and still remains there like a low pressure. That's very weird because there's too close to the equator, but that southernmost part is not that close, so we might need to watch that. But there's the Canadian model. It has the Cyclone Errol there now. It has it a little bit weaker than it actually is now, but it does have it there, and it has the other one, potentially a low pressure near northern Australia. So it goes there, and the Canadian still wants a tropical storm or depression in the Bay of Carpentaria. So it goes there and maybe into northern Australia on the 22nd. And later, the Canadian still wants to pop up some low pressures there. And about Arrow, does go into northwestern Australia, kind of a weak tropical storm, like very weak, and then it lingers around and dissipates there. So we'll keep watching. And here there's the European, it shows Arrow there, even like to 976, closer category 2, category 3, and then it goes into northwestern Australia just as a tropical storm. So no crazy thing, but it might cause some dangerous rainfall and some higher gusts too. So it goes there and then dissipates. And the Europeans also showing a low pressure off of northern Australia by like the 20th, and it does show still on the 21st between Australia and Indonesia. So we might need to watch this there for northern Australia or parts of southern Indonesia. There's the Neptune as well. It has the cyclone there now in the Indian Ocean. This goes, and it does show it going to northwestern Australia there. So in those areas, you need to watch very closely. Maybe make some preparations. This is not a humongous cyclone, but it will bring some nasty rainfall and some wind gusts. So just be ready there, just in case. And the Neptune still wants another one into Queensland later next week. So we need to watch the other area as well. There's the icon here, show like arrow in the Indian Ocean, and the icon also has the other one in the Bay of Carpentaria already by Friday. So already by Friday the icon has it there, but it lingers, it doesn't make landfall, just lingers, then goes back into Indonesia later. But for Arrow, it approaches Australia, but the icon doesn't want to make landfall, it just approaches there. So we'll keep watching, but this on satellites now is very impressive. So here for the rainfall, the European does show until Monday, the 21st, this area here that it might make landfall close to like more than 162 millimeters, 164. It does have further south 200 to 103, but further south like Derby to 68. It does have some others further inland, more than 50 millimeters, and shows further north as well some more heavier showers, but this part here might be the worst affected, but it depends where exactly it will make landfall, because this might change still. So for example, now they have the landfall around here, they have the landfall just south of where the European is going, so the Europeans has landfall slightly further north, so it will all depend where it will make landfall exactly to see the worst rain will occur, but we'll keep watching and just be aware in all those areas. The GFS is further south near Broome, so it does have more than 132 millimeters in Broome next 5 days, and also in Derby close to 151, so be careful, and in those areas in between does have more than 147 millimeters, 139, so stay safe in those areas, be careful, and check the latest updates in the link in the description for Australia there, and stay safe, be careful those areas. There's the icon too. The icon doesn't really make landfall, the icon stays in the ocean more, but better watch as well, so be careful. The icon is interesting about northern territories, so it does have like more than 147 millimeters spots of the northern territory next 5 days, because it has this disturbance kind of forming near northern Australia, so be aware those areas. There's the axis with an interesting track. The axis doesn't go south towards Derby, the axis goes way further north with landfall, so it has landfall like in far northwestern Australia to like 240 millimeters, 231, and this would cause more flooding. It does have 219 and more spots there, so if you are in this whole area here, just stay on alert for that, be careful. But there's in Queensland, the axis has the other cyclone potential near northwestern Australia going into Queensland, so it does have some towns more than 200 millimeters, 250, 262, so if you are northern Queensland, be watching this closely as well. There's like the east coast of Queensland, it also has a lot of tropical moisture to 288 millimeters, even to like 241, so be careful in this very stormy area throughout northern Queensland. So the axis itself here has like a disturbance near northern Australia and Cyclone Errol there, so it shows like by Friday's Cyclone Errol already much weaker, but maybe going to northwest and most Australia, and it has this other disturbance into northern Queensland. Not really as a big cyclone, it just shows like a big blob of moisture there. Friday this goes and spreads out for northern Queensland Saturday with more storms as the remnants of Errol dissipate near northwestern Australia. So be careful those areas, and let's see here. There's like for southern Australia, nothing that crazy there, but it does have some fronts near southwestern Australia as well, even to 50 millimeters, spots of southeastern Australia, even to 88 to 38 millimeters, and some more spots there. So be aware those areas, and let's see near the Northern Territory. if Errol makes landfall, it might leave some storms in northwestern Australia and into spots of the Northern Territory if he makes landfall. So be careful those areas. And some models here, the GFS, it does have approaching the coast. Many of the GFS ensembles make landfall, but many of them just go out into the ocean, like these other blue lines here. So the GFS is still kind of deciding what it wants. But there's the Canadian model in yellow here, and the Navgen in purple, and does show, none of them shows landfall, but the GFS operational, the run, it does show landfall in the red line. So be careful. There's the Canadian model, the ensembles shows like most of them show landfall there northwestern Australia. So be careful in those areas, and we'll keep watching. There's this invest as well between Australia and Papua New Guinea is the other one that might form there, and there's this other invest lost in the Indian Ocean. It's like right in the middle of the Indian Ocean. So be aware those areas. And let's see here. So now we have this cyclone near New Zealand, and it's kind of tropical and kind of not tropical. The hurricane tracker here does show it like as tropical category 1 and close to New Zealand, but the shape of this doesn't look that tropical, looks more like extra tropical. So this is like a very big system. It's there, and the tail end of the cold front goes all the way to Papua New Guinea. This is like a massive system. It goes, there's the European just keeps spinning. Meanwhile, today and tomorrow, the cold front in New Zealand with that heavy rain and high wind, it goes, keeps spinning there. The low pressure itself might go into New Zealand later on April 21st, but by that time it will be already very weak, so no major thing with that, but might have high winds because the low pressure right there, you have some high winds too. But the main problem now is this front with the heavy rain and the high winds. So please be careful those areas. There's some image here. The satellite shows the water vapor, and this thing is just spinning there with this massive cold front. It's an impressive system. So the rainfall here next 5 days does show still spots of northern New Zealand to 246 millimeters, now spots to 134, 138, and more for northern New Zealand. Further north shows some 53 millimeters, 54, but the northernmost part still showing some 58, 158, 150 millimeters. And then the South Island still shows in the northern South Island close to 300 millimeters, the European model. So please be careful. Those areas 214, 103, 98. So be careful, especially with flooding. It might be a problem there. So here, let's see if they have something. They already have some warnings there for rain and wind spots on northern New Zealand. There's today, tomorrow, and further south. Check the link in the description. There's like tons of information there. The link for New Zealand, there's like warnings, forecasts, and everything. So please check that if you are there. And here it shows this goes. It might be some strong thunderstorms as well. And Thursday, the main front throughout Thursday night and Friday, still on Friday, many storms. Saturday still shows some storms further south as well. Sunday and Monday still some. So please be careful. There's the GFS. It shows more concentrated in the North Island, close to 200 millimeters in a spot or two. And just 1 second here. And shows further north as well to 172, 143, and more spots to like 121, and around 51 in Auckland, but might be more. And shows in the South Island spots to 111, 139. So stay safe in those areas, especially with any river flooding and just like normal flooding and landslides in those areas. So be careful, and plus the thunderstorms and the winds. And shows here in the South Island to 87 millimeters. It's 76 more areas there. So stay safe. There's the icon. The icon's kind of different. It shows close to 100 in the Northern Island, but not as much as the other models. And it shows like more in the western part of the North Island to like 137, but it shows especially in this northwestern area of the South Island, even to like 189. So please be careful in those areas, and further south in the South Island might have more as well. There's the axis that sometimes is very interesting, and it shows even some areas the northern point of the North Island to like 300 millimeters. This might be too much, but it's also possible. It's not impossible. So if this happens, please be careful with flooding. And then there's these other areas of the North Island, more than 159 millimeters. In Auckland, it does have some 75 millimeters, and that's not as much as some other areas, but even if 75 millimeters falls in a short amount of time, it can cause flooding. So be careful. There might be some disruptions there as well. And shows further north here, some 130, 151. But the axis in the South Island is like very crazy. It shows some more than 100 millimeters, some spots north and South Island. But here's the real deal. It shows like more than 400 millimeters in those northwestern areas of the South Island. This is possible, but I think it's exaggerating a little bit. But please stay safe in those areas if this happens. Be careful with flooding, and be careful. And just for some other spots here, the axis also shows a lot on the east coast of Tasmania and southern parts of Tasmania. Some rain near southern Australia too. So be aware. And here for spots of Tonga and Fiji still shows to 60 to 70 millimeters. In western Fiji even to 100 millimeters next 5 days. So still be careful with some passing showers and storms there, especially in Tonga and spots of Fiji. So the wind here now, these cyclones mainly, they're in the ocean, but already show some very high winds. The northernmost point of New Zealand already to 105 km per gust. Already some spots to 82, 69 further south. Burnt Pie is still high, some winds there. There might be some larger swells in Australia as well. So Wednesday, this goes, still shows it's almost Thursday there. It might be like Wednesday night there. So it shows some higher winds starting Thursday, like continuing into Thursday morning, into Thursday afternoon. Still shows spots more than 100 km per gust. This goes shows like on Friday morning, Thursday night, some in the South Island too, but mainly some high gusts in the North Island. So Thursday, Friday, and this just changed here. So Friday, Saturday still shows some winds near the Northern Island, even near Waitangi, and some spots near the South Island Saturday and Sunday. So be careful, and this goes there, but still shows Wednesday the 23rd, more winds near like central New Zealand and Waitangi, by like Wednesday and Thursday the 24th. But that's far away. We'll keep watching that. There's the GFS. Alright, it shows in the North Island to 114 km per gust. And then shows Wednesday into Thursday, still some very high gusts in some northern areas there. So stay safe in those areas. Thursday still shows Friday, Friday into Saturday near New Zealand there. Saturday still shows in Waitangi, spots on northern New Zealand, might be slightly higher, and Sunday, Monday, the GFS already that takes it away. But the icon here shows already those higher gusts in the northern areas, even in northern South Island there. So Wednesday, this goes Thursday, and then it does show spots to 73 km per gust still Wednesday in those northern areas. Thursday shows like Thursday to Friday, shows very high gusts in the ocean nearby and in some interior spots by like Friday afternoon. So this goes into Saturday, shows in Waitangi some more, and the low pressure itself there in the ocean still, and some specific spots in some mountains there. This is some higher gusts Saturday into Sunday, and I don't know why it just changed again here. So Sunday, Monday, and when this low pressure gets closer, by Monday there's a possibility of some higher gusts in Wellington or these areas between the two islands. So be aware as well. Here, let's see if I get the axis as well. So it already shows now Wednesday in some spots of the northernmost island to 112 km per gust already, and in the ocean it's like 120. So in the South Island is already to like 288 or more in the northern part of the South Island. So it goes there, and then still shows by Thursday close to 83 km per gust in Auckland, or it might be even higher in some specific spots. Thursday, Friday, this goes there. Still shows Saturday some spots around New Zealand, and it goes there. So please be careful in those areas and stay safe. The current trend, this might change too, but the current trend showing the worst winds in the northern part of the North Island, because a few days ago it showed even stronger to like Auckland and more spots. It's showing now most winds remaining in the ocean, but even if it's like some 85 and 87 km per gust, this can already cause many disruptions. And if you have like loose objects and stuff that might fly away, be careful. Put everything in a safe place, because I've seen events of strong winds that can cause a lot of disruptions. So be careful. And the waves, the same things, like some very large waves in between Australia and New Zealand. So be careful. Maybe even some slight rip current danger because of these swells. And this goes Thursday, Friday, and then by Sunday it already gets better there. And still shows like some islands south of Tonga and some other spots further south in the Pacific, slightly higher. But further north, like in the Coral Sea and other areas, it's more calm. Just in the intertropical convergence zone further in the North Pacific, it's already but still bumpy. But yeah, we'll keep watching this. And southwestern Australia still is some more waves as well. So be aware, there's here this front today and Thursday and Friday southwestern Australia. Be careful, some storms there. Thursday, Saturday, this goes, and the potential cyclone further north in Australia. Let's take a look at some wind gusts from this cyclone near northwestern Australia. So the European goes there, but it does potentially weaken a lot before landfall. The European has landfall Saturday with just 64 km per gust, and then Sunday, and this goes there. I think that was the axis, because these models keep flipping around here, but let's see if I get the European now. He does the same thing. It weakens a lot before landfall Saturday, so just keep watching this. There will be some higher gusts in some areas, but it won't be anything catastrophic. So the GFS is like 669, 68, and the icon just lingers there. It barely makes landfall. So be careful in those areas, and the icon is more winds in the Indian Ocean near Western Australia. So stay safe, be careful, especially if this cyclone happening in New Zealand now, and the potential one further north in Australia. So for snow here, that I almost forgot, it doesn't really show snow from this cyclone in New Zealand. The icon's like 0, the GFS is 0, and the European is also 0. So they just gave up on all snow for New Zealand, because a few days it did show some snow in those mountains from this cyclone. Now the European just shows snow close to April 30th or something, on April 27th. But from this cyclone it doesn't really show, but it does show maybe on the 23rd, next week, some 2 centimeters, the European. The GFS does have some on the 22nd in central New Zealand, but this week and this weekend it doesn't have anything. Maybe a tiny bit of snow next week on the 22nd, 23rd. So be aware, those areas, and more snow in the Southern Ocean, some islands there. That's interesting. And here for Australia, there's those stronger winds here in the ocean near New Zealand, the waves there. But in interior of Australia doesn't show anything that crazy. This cold front might come like Saturday, spots of South Australia, and those storms might have slightly higher gusts in some areas. Still next week near New South Wales, we will keep watching, but be aware. There's further out in the Pacific, near French Polynesia, some spots there. The European does show in Papeete to 59, even to 85 millimeters. Some other islands there, more than 80 millimeters. So be aware, Western French Polynesia. But further east, it doesn't show much. Shows some showers, a storm or two, but it shows this potential front here near Papeete in those areas. So be aware. There's in Fiji and Tonga there I showed you, but Samoa Islands, Papua New Guinea, still shows close to 100 millimeters and even more spots the Samoa Islands. So be careful, those tropical downpours in Papua New Guinea and the Samoa Islands. They might be strong. Northern Vanuatu shows more as well, so be careful. Shows near Palau or in Micronesia, more just south of Palau, but Micronesia itself kind of north of this main moisture zone, but it does show some showers in Guam and some storms in Micronesia. So be aware, in Malaysia, some heavy showers and storms. There's the excess, like all the way to 200 millimeters in Malaysia, central Indonesia, especially in Sumatra, Indonesia. There's like 232 millimeters and more spots there. Those heavy downpours, even southern Indonesia and western Guinea there as well. So be careful, even more than 200 millimeters. Some islands like Puro and those other islands in eastern Indonesia. So stay safe, those storms, maybe spots of Southeast Asia as well. And be careful, there's the GFS as well. It also has in Papeete, like the GFS is even to 100 millimeters. And it shows in Tonga, in Alofi, even to 176. So be aware in these islands. The GFS is more in Fiji, a lot in Vanuatu, and the Samoa Islands too. So still kind of stormy there. And the icon is also close to 100 in Papeete. So stay safe. There's now, it's already Thursday there, or like late Wednesday night, shows those storms around French Polynesia. Spots there Thursday, still shows storms in Papeete. Friday, and still Saturday and Sunday shows some storms there, and some other spots of French Polynesia, or even all the way down to Adamstown. So be careful, those areas
here shows the crazy cyclone in New Zealand, plus the storms near Fiji, Vanuatu and Tonga. So be careful those storms. A thing or two in Samoa as well. So yeah, and Solomon Island and Papua New Guinea. So be careful those areas. The temperatures, like I mentioned last time, are still very hot. Western Australia, close to 40 degrees in those areas, so be careful. And further south, it's colder, it's less. So this goes during the night, even show like some 4 degrees in Canberra and 5 degrees in other areas. And New Zealand, the mountains even to 2 degrees, and depending on the elevation, shows even less. In other areas to 18 degrees, northern New Zealand. And this is the icon, so let's see if the European is different. So still shows ahead of this front, Western Australia, those higher temperatures. In southwestern Australia, a little bit less. Sorry, I was fixing something here. So show like spots of South Australia, some is still Thursday afternoon. New South Wales and Victoria on Friday morning still shows some 8 degrees, 7 degrees, 9 degrees, even spots of Queensland. So this goes there, and still show like Friday afternoon, Western Australia close to 37, 38, but less than it was a few weeks ago. So that's better, but it shows kind of colder in southwestern Australia. Not cold, but like chilly and mild, to like 8, 7 degrees on Saturday morning in the southeast as well. And still Saturday afternoon shows warmer like central and northern Australia ahead of this front. And Sunday morning still cooler in the south and spots in New Zealand. And still Sunday afternoon more spots warmer in the north and more areas. So stay safe from these systems, these storms here, the cyclone New Zealand, and this cyclone near northwestern Australia. That's very beautiful on satellite. So we'll see what happens to it, and we'll make more updates. Be careful these storms in Southeast Asia as well, and Papua New Guinea, and spots of French Polynesia, Tonga, Fiji, and those areas. Stay safe.